Have you ever felt, after turning 70, that each step you take carries an invisible weight? That dull ache in your knees that seems to have quietly moved in for good? That persistent fatigue that makes you want to stay in your favorite armchair? And deep down, that lingering fear of a fall. A fall that could change absolutely everything. We try not to think about it, but a single unsteady step can turn a normal day into a nightmare, leading to a loss of your precious independence. And here is the nightmare that no one talks about. Shocking research from the National Institutes of Health confirms that 1 in 4 Americans over 65 falls each year. After 70, that risk soars. But in my 30 years as a doctor helping folks navigate their golden years, I've learned that many of these challenges are not inevitable. They often stem from a silent deficiency that is incredibly common, yet tragically overlooked. I'm not talking about theory. I think of my patient, Robert. At 75, he could only watch his grandkids play from a distance, filled with regret. He truly thought that was his life from now on. But a simple change brought him back to the center of his family's life, stronger than he'd been in years. In this video, we are not just going to talk about the problem. I'm going to share with you a simple, incredibly affordable secret that could help you reclaim your strength, your balance, and your joy. A secret that's likely already within your reach. Everything I'm about to share is based not just on my clinical experience, but on solid research from trusted institutions like Harvard, Stanford, and the CDC. And please, make sure you stick with me until the very end. Because the final piece of advice I'll share is the single most important safety check you must know before trying this. It's a simple step that ensures this powerful ally works for you, not against you. Before we dive in, I truly want to know, if what I just described feels at all familiar to you, would you do me a favor and comment a simple yes below? It lets me know I'm on the right track, and more importantly, it shows others in our community that they are not alone. Okay, let's begin. Alright, let's start by tackling the first thief that quietly visits us after 70. Muscle weakness. Let's talk about our muscles. Have you noticed that standing up from your favorite armchair feels more like a battle these days? Or that a single bag of groceries feels heavier than it used to? That's not just in your head, and it's not just a normal part of getting older that you have to accept. There's a medical name for it, sarcopenia, but all it really means is the gradual loss of muscle mass as we age. After 70, we can lose 3 to 5% of our muscle mass each decade. You can think of it like a slow, almost imperceptible leak in a tire. At first, you don't notice it, but over time, the tire gets softer, less reliable, and can't support the weight it once did. Now, why does this happen? The core reason is that as we age, our body's ability to process protein and repair muscle tissue slows down. It's like having a dedicated construction crew that has worked tirelessly for decades, but now, some of the workers have retired, and they don't rebuild as quickly as they used to. This is why you start to feel that shaky sensation in your legs when you stand for too long, why you tire out so quickly during a walk, and why simple tasks can feel like a workout. It's a frustrating cycle. You feel weak, so you move less, and when you move less, the muscles get even weaker. This brings me to my patient, Robert, a wonderful 75-year-old gentleman I've known for years. When he first came to see me about his fatigue, his story broke my heart. He described his life as watching from the sidelines. He'd sit on his porch, watching his grandkids chase a ball in the yard, hearing their laughter but not feeling a part of it. He told me, his voice heavy with sadness, "Doc, I used to be the one teaching them to throw a baseball. Now, I can barely walk to the mailbox without feeling exhausted." He was missing out on family barbecues, on trips to the park, on life itself. He had accepted this as his new reality. That's when I told him about a simple, powerful nutrient that could act as fuel for his body's aging engine. I explained that it could help his construction crew get back to work, repairing those tiny tears in his muscles from daily wear and tear. He was skeptical, but he was willing to try anything. After just 3 weeks, he came back to my office, and he was a different man. He walked in with a confidence I hadn't seen in years. He told me that for the first time in a long time, he had climbed the stairs to his bedroom without stopping halfway to catch his breath. But the real story, the one that brought tears to my eyes, came a month later. He said he was at the park with his family, and his youngest grandson, just 6 years old, started running toward the pond. Without a second thought, Robert got up from the bench and started to chase after him. He not only caught up to him but scooped him up in a big hug. He looked at me and said, "Doc, in that moment, I wasn't an old man anymore. I was just a grandpa." I felt reborn, free in every step. This isn't about becoming an athlete. It's about getting your life back, one precious moment at a time. This is where our secret vitamin truly shines, and scientific research from institutions like Harvard University backs this up, showing that the right nutrient can boost muscle strength by up to 20% in older adults. If Robert's story gives you a feeling of hope, please comment hope below. It's a powerful word, and we all need more of it. Now, muscle strength is one piece of the puzzle. But let's talk about the second thief, that nagging, relentless joint pain. Let's talk about that morning stiffness. Do you ever wake up feeling like a rusty gate that's hard to open? Are those first few steps out of bed a daily struggle, filled with creaks and groans? You are certainly not alone. For millions of Americans over 70, this is a daily reality. This isn't just about minor aches. It's about a deep, persistent inflammation that settles into our knees, our hips, our hands, making life difficult. I like to explain it to my patients this way. Imagine your joints are a beautiful garden. For years, everything grew perfectly. But as we get older, weeds of inflammation can start to creep in. These weeds, called cytokines, are tiny troublemakers that irritate the tissues, causing pain, swelling, and that awful stiffness. The core reason this becomes more common with age is that our body's natural anti-inflammatory response can get a little sluggish. Furthermore, certain mineral imbalances can start to happen, which is like throwing the wrong kind of fertilizer on the garden, encouraging the weeds to grow even faster. This is why stairs can suddenly feel like your enemy, why bending down to tie your shoes becomes a major chore, and why you might turn down an invitation for a walk with a friend. The pain doesn't just limit your body, it can shrink your world. This reminds me so much of another patient of mine, Michael, an 80-year-old man who was deeply in love with his wife of 55 years. Their most cherished ritual was starting each day together, side by side in the kitchen, making coffee. But as his knee pain grew worse, he could no longer stand for more than a minute. He would sit at the kitchen table, watching his wife make the coffee all by herself. He told me, "Doc, the physical pain is bad, but the pain of watching her do it all alone, of losing that simple connection, that's what really hurts." The kitchen feels so quiet now. We talked about how our secret vitamin could help. I explained that it acts like a gentle, skilled gardener. It doesn't just mask the pain, it goes to the root of the problem, helping to regulate those inflammatory weeds and restore balance. I also suggested he combine it with a very simple stretching exercise each morning. Just sitting on the edge of his bed and gently rotating his ankles 10 times in each direction. It's like watering the garden after you've pulled the weeds, helping to lubricate the joints. A month later, Michael came in for a follow-up. His eyes were sparkling. He said, "Doc, you're not going to believe this. This morning, I woke up, I stood up, and I walked right into the kitchen and put the coffee on. All by myself." He paused, and his voice got a little choked up. When my wife walked in and saw me standing there, holding her favorite mug, the smile on her face, it was like we were young again. We're starting our days together again. Research from the prestigious New England Journal of Medicine supports this, showing that the right nutrient can reduce joint pain by up to 30%. But for Michael, it wasn't about the percentage. It was about reclaiming that connection, that simple morning ritual that meant the world to him. Wasn't that a beautiful story? If you believe in reclaiming those small, precious moments, please comment moments below. Now, we must face what is often the biggest fear of all: poor balance and the risk of a life-changing fall. Let's be honest for a moment. More than the aches and pains, the thing that truly frightens many of us after 70 is that sudden wobble when you stand up. That feeling that your body is no longer a trusted friend, that you could lose your balance at any moment. It's a fear that can live in the back of your mind, influencing every decision you make, from whether to take a walk outside on a windy day to simply reaching for something on a high shelf in your own kitchen. To understand why this happens, I want you to think of your body as having an internal GPS system. This system, called proprioception, is constantly telling your brain where your limbs are in space, even when you're not looking. It's how you can walk in the dark without falling over. But with age, that GPS signal can get a little foggy. The messages between your brain and your feet don't travel quite as fast or as clearly as they used to. This is the core reason for that instability. It's a combination of those weaker muscles we talked about and these slower nerve signals. This is what creates that constant, underlying anxiety. You start walking more slowly, you look down at your feet more often, and you might even start avoiding activities you once loved. I've had so many patients tell me they stopped going to their grandkids' sporting events or visiting friends because they were afraid of navigating unfamiliar steps or uneven ground. The fear of falling doesn't just put you at risk of physical injury. It can put your life in a cage, isolating you and stealing your confidence. But what if you could upgrade that internal GPS? What if you could clear up the foggy signal? This is precisely where our secret weapon comes in. It works by supporting the neuromuscular connections, ensuring those signals from your brain to your feet are sharp, clear, and precise. It helps to enhance your reflexes, so if you do trip or stumble, your body can correct itself much more quickly. It's truly remarkable. In fact, major studies from Stanford University, one of the top research institutions in the world, show that this secret nutrient can cut the risk of falls in older adults by up to 25%. A 25% reduction. Think about that. That is a huge, life-altering difference. It's the difference between living in fear and living with freedom. And you can help recalibrate this internal compass with a very simple exercise. Right now, if you're able, stand near a sturdy chair or a countertop for support. Gently lift one foot just an inch or two off the ground and try to hold it for 3 or 4 seconds. Then, switch to the other side. Do this once a day. It's a simple action, but when combined with the right nutrient, it's like sharpening the signal of your internal GPS. It's not about becoming a gymnast. It's about building the confidence to walk into a grocery store, to visit your family, and to live your life without that shadow of fear following you. A 25% reduction is huge. If that number surprised you, just take a moment and comment "wow" below. So, the secret we've been gradually unveiling, this small but mighty hero for your muscles, your joints, and your balance, is none other than vitamin D. Yes, vitamin D. It's affordable, it's powerful, and it is tragically overlooked in our modern, indoor lifestyles. But its benefits go even deeper than what we've already discussed. Let's now talk about 2 more of its incredible powers: fighting that deep, soul-crushing fatigue and building bones as strong as pillars. First, let's talk about energy. Do you ever get a full night's sleep but wake up feeling like you haven't slept at all? As if heavy anchors are tied to your arms and legs? This is one of the most common complaints I hear from my patients over 70. They feel a deep, unexplained exhaustion that coffee can't fix. The core reason for this often happens at a cellular level. Think of every cell in your body as having a tiny power plant, called mitochondria. These power plants are responsible for turning food and oxygen into energy. As we age, these little power plants can become less efficient. Vitamin D acts like the master spark plug, igniting these power plants to work more efficiently. It is the key to fighting that stubborn fatigue. Research from the prestigious University of Cambridge showed that older adults with healthy vitamin D levels reported a 25% boost in their energy levels. This reminds me of Eleanor, a vibrant 78-year-old patient whose zest for life was being dimmed by this exact kind of fatigue. She loved her garden, but told me she no longer had the energy to tend to it. Her social life, once full of chats with friends, had dwindled because she was just too tired. After we corrected her vitamin D deficiency, she came back a few weeks later, and her face was radiant. She said, "Doc, it's like a new breeze has swept through my life. I have the energy to be with my friends again, to work in my garden, to be me again." And just as importantly, let's talk about your bones. The greatest fear for many as they age is a fracture from a minor fall, a broken hip or wrist that can lead to surgery, a long hospital stay, and a permanent loss of independence. Our bones can become more porous and brittle over time, a condition called osteoporosis. This is where vitamin D acts as a master architect. Its main job is to help your body absorb calcium, the primary building block of bones. You can eat all the calcium in the world, but without enough vitamin D, it's like having a pile of bricks with no one to carry them to the construction site. Vitamin D is the reliable courier that carries those calcium bricks and locks them into your bones, making them denser and stronger. The research is undeniable. Studies show that maintaining adequate vitamin D levels can cut fracture rates by 20 to 30%, especially when paired with a simple daily walk. That gentle impact tells your bones to stay strong. It turns them from being fragile like glass into the sturdy pillars you need to support you for a lifetime. Alright, now for the most important part. You might be thinking, okay, doctor, this sounds great. Vitamin D is the answer. But how do I actually? This is where the rubber meets the road. Knowledge is wonderful, but it's action that changes our lives. I want to give you 3 easy ways to get this essential nutrient, and then I'm going to share the single most important safety rule you absolutely must follow. First, there's the free way, good old-fashioned sunlight. Our skin is remarkable. It produces vitamin D when it's exposed to the sun. You don't need to bake for hours. For most people with lighter skin, just 15 to 20 minutes of direct sunlight on their arms and legs a few times a week is enough. The best time is in the morning or late afternoon when the sun isn't at its most intense. Think of it as your daily dose of natural medicine. It costs nothing, and it also gets you outside in the fresh air. Second, we have the tasty way, through your food. While few foods are naturally packed with vitamin D, some are excellent sources. Think of fatty fish like salmon, tuna, and sardines. An average serving of salmon can provide a fantastic amount of your daily needs. Other good sources include egg yolks and foods that have been fortified, which just means vitamin D has been added to them. Look for fortified milk, fortified orange juice, and fortified cereals at your grocery store. Making these foods a regular part of your diet is a delicious way to support your levels. Third, there's the practical way, through supplements. For many people, especially during the winter or for those who don't get much sun, a supplement is the most reliable way to get enough vitamin D. They are incredibly affordable. A bottle for a whole month often costs just a few dollars at any pharmacy or supermarket. You'll want to look for the form called vitamin D3, which is generally better absorbed. For most adults over 70, a daily dose between 800 and 2,000 international units, or IU, is recommended. But this brings me to the most critical point of this entire video. This is your core safety rule. It is non-negotiable. Before you start taking any vitamin D supplement, you must do one thing. Ask your doctor for a simple blood test to check your vitamin D levels. I cannot stress this enough. This is so important because it tells you your personal starting point. You wouldn't put oil in your car without checking the dipstick first, right? Same principle. Taking too much vitamin D can be harmful, and it can interact with certain medications for blood pressure or other conditions. The blood test removes all the guesswork. It allows you and your doctor to choose the perfect, safest dose specifically for you. We are aiming for balance, not extremes. This simple test is the key to making vitamin D your trusted ally, ensuring it works for you and protects you on your journey to a stronger, more vibrant life. In summary, vitamin D is that quiet companion, that steadfast friend that can transform weary steps into confident strides. It's the key to awakening your hidden vitality, letting you live your golden years to the absolute fullest. And as we close, I want you to remember Robert, Michael, and Eleanor. They didn't find some complicated, expensive miracle cure. They found a simple key. Vitamin D. It was the key that unlocked the door to a life filled with more movement, like chasing after a beloved grandchild in the park. It unlocked the door to more connection, like sharing a simple cup of coffee with the person you've loved for a lifetime. And it unlocked the door to more joy, like feeling a new breeze of energy sweep through your life, allowing you to simply be you again. After 70, life isn't about slowing down. It's about having the right tools to help you walk tall, savor every precious moment, and continue to be the pillar of strength and love for your family. As we wrap up, we've explored how one simple nutrient can be a powerful ally. But knowledge is only powerful when we put it into action. So now, I have one important question for you. What is the one commitment you are making to yourself after watching this video? It could be as simple as, I promise to take a 15-minute walk in the sun tomorrow morning. Or, I will finally call my doctor this week to ask about that blood test. Please, share your personal promise in the comments below. Writing it down. It makes it real. And it lets us all inspire one another to take that first, crucial step. And if you found real value and hope in our time together, show your support by giving this video a like. It helps others who need this information to find it. To ensure you continue on this journey with us and never miss another video full of life-changing wisdom, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. It's more than just subscribing. It's joining a wonderful community dedicated to living our best lives together. Finally, think of just one person who needs to hear this message today. Maybe a friend, a sibling, or a neighbor. Please share it with them. You might just change their life. Thank you so much for your time. Stay strong and walk tall. I'll see you in the next video.